how does printing actually work, how does laser printing work. Then look at the toner technology, toner cartridges, and we'll have a deep dive into cost. How does laser printing work? Typically today we have the information we want to print on a laptop or on a desktop PC or a mobile phone, and this content that needs to be printed needs to be described in a language that the printer can understand. Most common ones are HP PCL, page control language, or Adobe PostScript, but there are other languages used as well. The raster imaging processor in the printer translates this language into information he can print. So basically, he decides where he needs to put a spot on a page and where the page remains blank. Now, how do we get the information from the raster imaging memory onto the paper? We develop a kind of electrostatic stamp. We use photosensitive material, which we charge with a negative electrical charge. Behind that is an isolation level, and then we have a electric material behind. Now we have this charged plate, and we use a laser beam to uncharge certain areas of this. So we have negative electric charge in areas where we do not want to print, and we have neutralized this surface in areas where we want to print. Of course, we don't use a plate to print today, we use a drum, but the principle is exactly the same. We discharge areas where we want toner to stick. Now, printing works with toner, and toner is a pretty complex thing. I'll show you later how it looks like in detail. Important for us at this stage is toner can be charged with a negative electrical charge. So I have negatively charged toner, and I have a negatively charged surface on my drum. And you know, two negative charges do not go together. They are forced away from each other. So what we do is we rotate the charged drum with the discharged areas through the negatively charged toner, and the toner only sticks at the neutralized areas of the drum. I have the toner on the drum at the spots where I want them. Now I need to get the toner on a paper, and I do that by using a positive electrical charge beyond the paper to just attract the toner away from the drum onto the paper. Now the slide set, I created it on a Sunday morning, 3 o'clock, was pretty tired. I did a mistake when creating the slide. Any idea which mistake I might take?
It must be minus, not plus. And because the toner was...
Toner is negatively charged?
And I was positive charged.
Any idea? If not, I created a mirrored image here. I wanted to print HP, but now I have the mirrored image on the paper. The solution is quite easy. I mirror the image in the raster image memory, and I have the correct image here. Now at this stage we have the toner on the paper, but I would have to move the paper very carefully and stop breathing, because otherwise I would blow the toner away from the paper. So what we need to do is to fuse the toner on the paper, and in principle we do that with heat and pressure. So we kind of iron or fuse the toner to the page, and now we have a printed page like this one, and as you know, the toner sticks.
Using two technologies, the LaserJet technology. So Jochen was talking about that technology, and the other technology that our printers are using, that's the thermal inkjet technology. And I will cover the aspects for the supplies for these technologies. So when it comes to inkjet supplies, actually there are usually 3 aspects that the customers, that the partners, that the analyst, and that usually the press is looking at. So that's the quality of the image, the reliability of the products, and the affordability, if we compare original supplies with the refilled cartridges. So I kind of will cover all these 3 elements, so how HP original cartridges are doing on these 3 elements compared to refilled cartridges. So before that, actually, so let's also kind of look at a little bit the technology in the inkjet cartridge. So first of all, what I would like to say that the ink cartridge is not just a container, a plastic container for ink. Actually, in this little cartridge, there's a lot of technology and a lot of R&D investment and a lot of innovations. So first of all, what is special about the cartridge, of course, the circuit. So there is an electronic circuit which is communicating the printer. For example, it sends information how much ink is still left in the cartridge, and it's controlling the functioning of the printer. What is actually, from my perspective, the most important part of this cartridge is actually the printhead. So how the printhead is working. So actually, if you would look at this printhead with a microscope, what you would find, so by the way, this is the cartridge that we use in the LaserJet cartridges. So what you would see on this printhead, actually a lot of little microscopic nozzles. So on this cartridge, you would find 1,248 microscopic nozzles, and each of them are actually firing the ink drops to the paper. And these 2 drops of paper here. Not a big one, just medium size. And here. Okay, first, I can show you what you see here. This is the paper without the color lock. So here I was putting the drop on this side, and you see the color is immediately on the other side. So basically that means if you would like to print this paper and print on both sides, that will be a mess, because it's impossible. If you look at the color lock, you see that it's not going to the other side. So you can actually, I can show the comparison. So this is the color lock, this is without the color lock. So this paper is actually more environmentally friendly because you can use it for double-sided printing. The other difference that you see, if you look at the surface, you see that this is shinier, it's a better image quality. So this is kind of gray-like, and this is gray shiny. So even the image quality is much better with this one. And if you look at the edges, so the side of the drop, you will see that the ink is spreading here into the paper. Here, it is not spreading. It is just kind of really a sharp edge.
The cartridges are then sorted in the cartridge family with this X-ray process that identifies designs. Pre-sorting cartridges allows us to more efficiently recover raw materials. Batches of similar cartridges are fed into this machine where they are mechanically separated and shredded into raw materials such as plastics and metals. For years, metals and plastics from HP print cartridges have been used to make a variety of new products such as auto body parts, fence posts, and now, thanks to an engineering breakthrough, we are able to use recycled plastics from our cartridges and other sources such as water bottles in new HP print cartridges. This cartridge contains between 50 and 75% recycled content.